DonInLondon, hello. It's the 26th of November 2009. Nearly forgot the date then. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, and my addictive substance was alcohol. Still would be if I went out there and had another go, but I'm on a daily reprieve at the moment and have been for some while, and life is improving and I'm making progress, just making simple progress one day at a time, to find out who I am on a daily basis and not be too concerned about the far distant future, just keep it in the day. So alcohol, my addictive substance, my behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, anything to fill that fearful gap inside me, the emptiness, the loneliness. And I didn't even know I was empty or lonely for many years, simply because I was striving to be perfect in whatever environment I was in, be it social, intimate, or work. And I guess in that respect probably a people pleaser, so that you would accept me for who I was. But I didn't know who I was because of that empty gap inside. So fear driven and ego driven to an extent, although ego only covers up the gap, and when we crack the ego there's probably nothing much inside to hold us up. So definitely lacking in courage, faith and confidence and self-awareness to a large extent. If I had asked myself, am I doing what I want to do with my life, which I never did, I wonder what I would have said to myself. I don't need to answer that because I can't, not now. But these days I have a clue that it's okay to love people, be loved back and do something useful on a daily basis, and then life seems to work. So what kept me alive long enough in those 35 years of drinking? I guess self-will, self-obsession, but underpinning that was love from family, love from people, and women in my life and friends in my life who could see there was something not quite right about me, but at the same time they loved me even though they didn't like my behaviour. So it probably kept me a single person for a lot of those years, interspersed with great love affairs, and that was good too. And I cherish those moments. We need cherish always. So what keeps me sober today? Well, family, friends, society, professionals, and a fellowship called AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I share about AA here because it's my experience, strength and hope of living soberly, and it helps me, the fellowship, keep in the day, living it and experiencing it and learning a little bit more wisdom as I go along. So the AA Statement of Intent, which I share here, or the AA Preamble as it's called in meetings, shared at every meeting I know, goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So the fellowship very focused on the membership, a desire to stop drinking, that's the fellows in the AA program, and carry the message to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And those are the keys for me. And the whole program is about being open, honest and willing to change our attitude and behaviour. And there are 12 steps of action for the individual to change attitude and behaviour. And these 12 steps, once we understand them, we can put them into practice and live them. They all work in one day. If they work tomorrow, they're no use to us. If they work today, they're fantastic. And if we look back after a little while of being in the fellowship, we see how we didn't know what the 12 steps could do for us, but now we do. And it's a living program, it's a living process, which gives us back our freedom of choice in the moment of now. And what a gift that is. And in this book, Daily Reflections, I share here because it covers the 12 steps and 12 traditions. And November is all about the 11th step, prayer meditation, and it's also about the 11th tradition, which reads, Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio and films. And for me that can be quite contentious, and I guess for others who hear or see my videos. And that's perfectly okay. We all have our own point of view. And as Bill Wilson, one of the co-founders, said, it's all a matter of personal integrity. But he says that in the book, this one, and it's important that I face up to it squarely, it says November 26th, the hazards of publicity. People who symbolise causes and ideas fill a deep human need. We of AA do not question that, but we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us, on a personal level, and could be for the fellowship too. As a recovered alcoholic, and I call myself a recovering alcoholic, I must make an effort to put into practice the principles of the AA program, which are founded on honesty, truth and humility. So for me, honesty, truth and humility say that I am a human being simply making progress, and I'm sober today, so I'm only sober for one day, and tomorrow, you know what, I could relapse. It could happen to me. It goes on to say, whilst I was drinking, I was constantly trying to be in the limelight. Now that I am conscious of my mistakes and of my former lack of integrity, it would not be honest to seek prestige even for the justifiable purpose of promoting the AA message of recovery. Yes, is the publicity that centres around the AA fellowship and the miracles it produces not worth much more? Why not let people around us appreciate by themselves the changes that AA has brought in us, and for that will be a far better recommendation for the fellowship than any I could make. And for me, you know, there are miracles, however we want to describe them. There are miracles in each and every person who makes a day sober, who is an addict, an alcoholic with a disease and an illness which can kill them. And when it talks about the limelight, well, I never sought it particularly, and I don't particularly seek limelight here. What I'm trying to share is experience, strength and hope, and be open, honest about what the program can and cannot do. So it allows me to make progress. But I am a person with a disease, and I know that if I'm not vigilant, I can go back to relapse, or by accident find myself in relapse, by my own carelessness or by carelessness of others about me and my condition. So for me it's important that I recognise anonymity, and I do, and it is the sanctuary for me to find my truth. So if I find my truth, I find my spiritual path. Now everybody has their own understanding of anonymity and how it helps them, and many people do not share their affiliation or fellowship with AA, which is perfectly okay. At the same time, if I were to go out there and people ask me, why is it you've changed so dramatically these last few years? And I said, it's all down to me, or I don't know. I think I would actually feel like I was being dishonest and not open and not valuing integrity too much. So I choose my path very carefully. So I'm not a perfect example, by no means. I'm just merely making progress, and that is the gift of the whole program. So, in as Bill sees it today, I don't know that I've got time for it. It says when the infancy is over. I'll just say the last bit here. No, the first bit. You must remember that every group, this is page 269, you must remember that every group starts, as it should, through the efforts of a single man and his friends, a founder and his hierarchy. There is no other way. But when infancy is over, the original leaders always have to make way for that democracy which springs up through the grassroots, and will eventually sweep aside the self-chosen leadership of the past. And that fits in very nicely with what I was saying. So to acceptance of how today is, the serenity prayer to the God of your understanding, or to good conscience, or to a higher power which works for you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is always and simply, for me, just for today.